Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this episode, we're going to start putting vehicles and trains on the lines that we made in the last episode. So what we're going to probably start with is adding the trucks all the way over here at this oil line. So let's place down a road depot. And we'll put it somewhere on this road, right about there. Okay, and now we'll get 8 trucks to start. We are a little pressed on money, so we'll have to go light in the beginning, and then as we start to make more, we can add more trucks to these lines. Okay, now that we have this line set up, we can start working on the train that will go from the oil refinery up to the chemical plants. So it'll start down there by the river and then come up all the way up to the top of this hill. So the first thing we're going to want to do is find a spot for the depot. Right around here is a pretty flat spot before it starts to go uphill. So we'll place that somewhere in this area. I think right about there works. So now we'll just connect up the tracks and we can start to build the train that we want on this line. So on this line, we're going to want a pretty strong train to carry the oil up the hill. So I think the train we're going to go with is this Russian Class S. That seems to be our best sort of middle ground train at the moment. It's strong and fast. And then all we have to do is add the tank cars. We don't want to add too much that it slows down the train going up the hill, but we also want it to be able to carry a decent amount. So I think probably 5 cars will be good for us. So we just need to wait for the money and we can get this train going. There we go. Now that we've bought it, we can create a new line for it. So a quick line, simple, that goes up that hill and back down. And I just realized that we don't have signals on this track yet. So I'm going to go in and place those real quick and then we'll be right back. So now we can see our train going down the hill on the right side of the track with these new added signals in. And I think it'll do well. Now we can connect up our next line that goes from the chemical plant over to the goods factory. So this one's going to be a bit harder to find where we want our train depot to go, but it's going to be somewhere on the edge of this mountain so that we can get it connected up easily without spending a ton of money. And I think right here before it breaks off into the bridge might be a good spot to put it. So now we're all connected up with signals and the track going into the depot. So now we can build the train. So again, I think we're going to go with the Russian Class S. For a trip like this, I think it's going to do just fine. And then we're going to need a few more tank cars than on our other line, just because this is going to take less frequent trips as the route is longer. And so I think we'll go with 7 cars. So now we just need to quickly take out a loan to purchase this train and we can get it running on this track. So we're connecting up the chemical plant, or the chemical plant to the goods factory, and there's our train coming out. Just waiting for this autosave so we can see it go. Bit of a weird transition there. Track's doing some weird stuff, but it works. So now it's time to work on the steel mill side of the production line. So pretty much what I'm going to do here is add signals and double up the track in all of the lines that are involved, and then we will start to get some trains on. So that'll give us time to let our money build up, and I'll be right back when we get the trains. Okay, so the train that we're going to go with is probably this Russian class 5C SCH, because we don't necessarily need something that's going to have a lot of speed, because these cars that we're going to use have a top speed of 50. So we'll just use the newest gondola that we have and add about probably 6 of these, and then we can get them on the line. We might take off 1 or 2 just because they're a bit heavy, especially when full, so going up some hills might be a little rough, but 5 cars should be good. So now we'll just connect up the coal line. This one doesn't really have many hills, so that's not much of an issue. It's more the iron side where there's a bit of a hill. So now we'll buy the train depot for that, and then we can get the train on the tracks. So here's the train depot. We had to move it because the track was being a bit weird, but now we can get the train for the iron mine. It's going to be very similar to the coal one because they use the same cars and everything. However, this one we might make a little bit longer since it's going to be a little less frequent. Or we might just add 2 later, but we're a little low on money, so we'll balance out all of these lines later. And now that that's connected up, we can see our train come out. And we can see the one coming out of the coal mine over here. So I'll do good enough for starting. There shouldn't be many issues as long as everything else gets connected up just fine. And now we can set up the train for the goods factory. So the train we're going to use is that Russian Class S, and then a couple of flat cars, since that's what the steel gets transported on. And we don't need too many of them because the steel is sort of limited with how much iron and coal we bring in, so there's no need for us to make a huge train until we get there. But 1 train for now should do good. It's a bit hilly to get there, so we'll expect it to be a bit slower than the other trains. So now the last thing we have to do is add a train to the factory that will take it to Akron. So once we figure out where to get this train depot in here, we'll be able to just throw some tracks down and get going. There we go. So now this train, again, because it is farther down the production line, we don't really need that many cars until everything else in the production line starts to ramp up and produce a lot of goods. So again, we'll go with the Russian class SCH,
and just a few boxcars. And now, last but not least, we have to set up the truck station. So it's going to go from the outskirts of Akron over to the goods factory part of the city. So now, we just placed the stations. We had to wait for money. But now that those are in, we can put these trucks on the line. And then everything should pretty much work how it should. So I was waiting for this whole thing to start working and clicking, and I noticed that nothing was producing anything. So I thought that was weird, and then after looking around for a bit, I discovered that this chemical plant disappeared while I guess we were making the other lines. So that kind of stinks. Fortunately, there's another chemical plant nearby. So what we're going to do is truck the refined oil to that chemical plant and then reuse about half the track that we have there to connect up to the new chemical plant. So I'll be right back with that. I'm not going to make you sit and watch through all of that. So everything's connected up now. We redid the train track and created a road connection. So now we just need to make this truck line that goes from the oil refinery over to the chemical plant, where that'll make plastics, and then we can send a train out for that. So we'll start out with like 10 trucks, and then we'll grow from there where we see fit. Alright, so now everything is connected up in this line. We just reused the train that we had before for the plastics before the location change, so there's not really any need to show you that, but everything works. Everything's producing things, and very slowly we'll be getting goods. So that'll pretty much be all for this episode. In the next episode, we'll work on refining everything, but that'll pretty much be it for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.